I'm speaking to Teresa Carey, who is the actual lady who's going to take part tonight. Teresa, could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, what would you like to know?
First of all, how old you are?
I'm 30.
And so how old were you when you were first an Elvis fan?
I was
9
9.
years old.
Yeah.
And you became interested. Why?
Why? I don't know. It's difficult to say why. I was at a friend's birthday party playing Pass the Parcel, and I won a record, and it was an Elvis record.
So literally from that moment onwards to the present day.
Yeah, I was going to outgrow it. It was a stage I was going through. My parents said, "Oh, you'll outgrow it, you know, when you're 9. And when we tell you about this later on, you'll say, oh, I never said that and I never did that." But as you can see, I've
Would
not
you say
outgrown
from
it.
becoming an ordinary Elvis Presley fan, if there is such a thing, when did you actually become what might be termed as a fanatical fan?
I think when I went to see him, really, because in my mind, I don't know, the way I'd built it up, nobody, I suppose, really could be as good as, you know, I thought that was it. But when I went to see him, that was it then. I mean, I just lived for when I was going to go back the following year.
Well, he never came to England, so you must have gone to America.
I went to the States to see him, yeah.
In 1972.
72. Onwards.
I'm speaking to Teresa Carey, who is the actual
trip, because she said they really got a bit fed up with Elvis, really. And they said, you know, if you were to go and see him, the way you've built him up to be, you'll be disappointed, but you'll get it out of your system, and maybe you'll lead a normal life. So she paid for my first trip to go, and I went. And
so they thought a normal life you would be without Elvis, but a normal life you would with Elvis.
Yeah, they felt that, you know.
So how many times did you eventually get to see Elvis?
I saw 40 shows.
Over a period of
6 years.
6 years.
But I saw him coming in and out at the gates and things like this, you know, chasing him to the airport, one thing and another.
What was your basic opinion of him at that time?
It's unbelievable. I mean, the first show that I saw, when they don't announce him, there's just the stage, it's all blacked out, and it's 2001, he's playing, and really your heart goes bang, 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 you think that's, you know, it's going to stop. And at that precise moment, just before he comes out, you don't want him to come out because you think this is going to be it.
I notice you're speaking in the present tense.
Yes, well, Elvis is still with us.
Now, that's an interesting thing because that's a very relevant point tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen here because
neither do I.
Well, it's just that might be relevant as we move on into the evening.
Yeah, to me, as to all of us, really, Elvis is still with us.
Okay, so we've ascertained that you are wholeheartedly what can be termed one of the most...
Well, I'm normal, you see. It's the others that aren't.
Well, that's a very good thing to say. What I'm trying to get to is the fact that you must represent what is termed the fanatical Elvis freak, which
Not
I don't...
freak.
No, I don't mean that in a condescending way.
Yes.
A fan to the utmost extreme.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is
we
why...
TCE.
Why I believe you were asked to come tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
When you were asked to come, why did you say yes?
First of all, I said no. Oh, no. But I've always been interested in, you know, I'd like to believe in this. Or I believe in life after death. And if there's any way that we could get through to Elvis, then I'd love it.
So you think if there's anybody on this earth that's strong enough willed to achieve this, that you think you're very much possible to be in
I've got an
mode?
open mind about tonight. It's not that I'm going to sit here and think, yes, definitely, because I'm not. I mean, with all the questions, if you get all the answers to the questions and they're right, then definitely I'm going to be...
That's an interesting point, because you know certain things about Elvis, I believe, that not many people know.
It's difficult. I mean, I'm sure tomorrow morning I'll wake up and I'll think of all the questions I should have asked her and that I didn't.
This is Carmen.
Carmen,
Yes.
yeah. But because when you just sit down with a pad and a pencil, you think, now what can I ask? You don't want all the normal questions that she could read up in all the different books. There's been so many magazines and books since that she could just read it all up. So I want some questions that, you know, that she couldn't know the answer unless she is actually in contact with Elvis.
Well, it's 9:30 now on a Tuesday evening.
Yes, and she's not arrived yet.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that neither of us have actually met her yet.
No. If she walked in, we wouldn't know her. We could pass her in the street and we wouldn't know her.
That's right. It's 2 years since Elvis died. It seems to be going on eternally.
Well, we say we'll TCE eternally, and we will.
TCE being what?
Taking care of Elvis.
Harry, what basically do you think is going to happen?
Well, to be honest, Stuart, I've got absolutely no idea.
Well, as I know, I'm sure you do too, this has, I don't think, ever been tried before. Do you know of any events like this that happened before?
As far as I know, I don't believe it's ever been done before in this country, no. Personally, sitting here right now, Stuart, I'm a non-believer, and I'm a cynic, yes.
As I am, because I do not know what will happen tonight. I'm intrigued to find out. I'm an Elvis fan as much as you are. But why do you think that tonight will be different to other nights where this might have taken place with other people in the past? Why do you think this might be more successful?
Well, I think because we have a lady from the Elvis Presley fan club who knows more about Elvis Presley than I think Elvis Presley's parents. Secondly, because the medium, Carmen Rogers, is a genuine person. I've seen her perform, and I was very impressed.
I don't know what we're going to see, whether we're going to hear things, see things, smell things, taste things, or what.
Here's the greatest thing, that I've come here as an independent, the same as yourself, even though I'm a partner of Barry in Shadow Records, but I've no idea whatsoever what's going to happen. I assume, Stuart, that we'll have to wait and see.
I believe you're just here as a layman tonight.
That's right, yeah, purely to take it all in.
Could you tell us actually who you are?
My name's John Brennan.
And you're just here to observe?
Purely as an outside observer.
Basic question, are you an Elvis fan?
I like Elvis, but I wouldn't call myself an Elvis fan as such.
Okay, and on the spiritualist side of things, have you ever witnessed anything like this before? Or,
no, I haven't, no.
Or in fact believed in anything like this before?
No, I'm totally open-minded about it. I wouldn't say I was a believer and I wouldn't say I was a disbeliever.
So what do you roughly imagine will happen tonight?
I'm totally clueless. I don't even know the schedule of events. I don't know what to expect at all.
Have you ever as much as had your palm read or been told life stories or anything like that? No? And do you have enough faith in Carmen tonight to produce some sort of results?
Well, I'm hoping so, yeah.
But you never met Carmen, have you?
No, I haven't, no.
The one thing that I will say is that I cannot guarantee results at all. There may be something, there may be nothing. And that's how I stand. The reason why you're in what we could call a circle is that there's certain power generated, psychic power you will generate, and obviously to a certain extent I shall utilise that. And whilst I'm trying to sort of get into some communicating link, which is a mental link, this is a mental mediumship that I am performing, hopefully, not physical mediumship. With physical mediumship, you would have the lights out. I don't require the lights out. Now, it's possible that there may be what is known as a very strong overshadowing or controlling influence that may come. I do not go into trance. I'm merely influenced, overshadowed. It may happen that way, or I may only be able to use clairvoyance or clairaudience, which is to see the personality who's communicating or hear the personality who's communicating. I have to get into that frame of mind. In other words, I have to form the link between the so-called two worlds. My feelings after you suggested this was that, fine, okay, we'll see if it can be done. But it's an obvious thing. They're all right. You've asked for a particular person, a personality, particular personality. The proof may well come in the answers that are given or the information that is given. That's the only proof, really, when all's said and done. I'm hoping to be able to prove proof of survival, which is the fact that a person has continued to live. You're all interested in the one person, the fact that he may still exist in some other form of life.
It is exactly 10 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. There are 15 people in the room, 10 of which are formed in a semicircle directly in front of Carmen. This is at her request, as she seems to require this to generate the full power of the mental communication that she's trying to build up at the moment. She has come here tonight from giving lectures
Another thing I was going to say,
on spiritualism.
During these things try to understand that whatever information may come, and I feel that the fellow's here, and I get it very strongly, but remember that he's going to try and work through me, therefore you're going to get a strong element of me in it as well. So don't expect to sort of get everything correct, because it's got to filter through me, through my subconscious into my mind and out through. So it's going to be me mixed up in all of this. All right. So if you can understand this, okay? I feel that there is this, that he's here, and he's probably getting rather annoyed with me because I keep sort of breaking in on this. And what I'll try to describe the sensation I'm getting with him. I know very little about him, but I assume that it's you who knows a great deal. Would you know things like habits, different habits that he would have? Because I'm getting a sense of almost like a nervous condition that he would, sometimes when he was excited, he would be almost like, couldn't stop his fingers moving. And I feel that when he was working himself up to do something, he almost stuttered. I don't know whether he was capable or I feel this sense of highly nervous, and I get this almost as though he had to mentally, before he went to perform or do something, he would have to sort of get hold of himself to stop himself stuttering. Would you understand that and know that? Because I don't know, I literally don't know any of this, because I feel that he probably had something in his hands he would clutch hold of, and I've got him, it's almost as though sometimes his fingers went right down to the quick. He was so nervous, he was so, and I feel tears here. I feel he was a highly emotional man, and God, I feel, oh, goodness me. He had a terrible temper. Terrible temper. Well, I get a lot of difficulty here. This man suffered with terrible headaches, particularly before he died. Splitting headaches. Terrible bad headaches. In fact, if he could have died then and there, that's not a migraine, it's some other sort of, I don't know, we've taken a lot of drugs. Not drugs, LSD, but medicated drugs, but there's something that gave him the most terrible headache. Because I'm getting these conditions that he was suffering before he died. All right, okay, because I feel he seems to be trying to tell me who's got the music for the performance, because there is a new piece, or not a new piece of music, it's an old piece of music that's been modernised and is going to be used at a performance, I think, on the anniversary of his passing. Who's got the music? Somebody's got it, and somebody's been scoring bits out of it. Do you know of this?
Well, they are. The music, they're taking the backings off. And,
That's right, but somebody's altering part of it, he says, and he doesn't like that. He didn't like his music being, his arrangements being altered. Somebody's altering them. Somebody's altering them. And who is it? I don't know. I hear a name like Lenny or something like that. He seems to be wanting that the music be left as it is, because, that's funny, has there been an argument about who's going to sing the song, sing that piece? There's been an argument between there are one of two people.
Could that possibly be the film that has been recently made about Elvis?
Yeah, well, that one, there's an argument about it.
Well, there was an actor played the part and a different singer sang the song.
Right.
And they argued about that.
No, because he says...
That's been recorded and done.
No,
That was
you know,
Ronnie
and it's not him. Recently there's been some further award, almost like a posthumous thing. And then this is all relating to his anniversary, but it's actually already arrived before it. Some, I don't know, it's a medal that's been struck or something that's been struck specially for him. And it's already either come into somebody's hands now, right? Right. And there is something that's wrong on this thing. I don't know whether there's a spelling that's wrong, something that's wrong on it. It may only be a letter. But he's just saying it's come. He's pleased about it. Yeah, he's pleased about it. Pleased about it. And on the back, I don't know whether there's flowers or a flower. Something like stamped on it. A flower, yes? I don't know what it is. It looks like not Tudor rose, but.
Is this in Tudor?
Is
this in Tudor?
I don't know what that is, but all I get is it looks like stamped on the back of it. Because he's interesting, and there's I don't know, it's 2,000 invitations or something gone out. There's something like that. 2,000 invitations gone out.
There is something happening in August, sure. That's
Right.
why I wonder whether this was Jupiter.
Yeah, because it's he's very pleased about this. But he's saying, you're not really doing what I wanted. And I don't know whether he left some sort of instructions, not what would happen after his death, but during the time he was ill. They were never carried out, were they? Is this so? Does anybody know? This was never carried out.
Yes,
Is that right?
yes.
He said, why not? Why not? It would have made some money. And he says, if it can be carried out, he said, use the money to do something worthwhile, not spent on monuments, because there's another one going to be built, he says. He wants it spent on something worthwhile. And I don't know who Jack is. Jack or Jackie. There's a youngster. I don't know, it's a youngster who's not well. I don't know, it's a boy of about 3 years old, 4 years old. I don't know what it is, but God, I'm thirsty. Where is it? Thanks, love. God. He used to, I don't know whether he used to drink a lot, but he used to drink before he ever went to do anything. I don't know what it was he drank. It was something weird. It wasn't drink as in alcohol. It was some...
Gatorade.
That's it. That's right, because as I say, it wasn't alcohol, but he'd drink pints of it. Yeah. It's a weird taste.
Gatorade, yeah.
Whatever it is, it's got a funny smell too. Is it like a not a treacle? What the hell's the smell? I've got a funny smell on my nose. Sorry that it seems to be going from back and forth, but there was an autopsy on his body, and I don't even know what he died of. I only know that there's a lot of fluid in his body. But there was also something found in the throat here. There's something about the throat here, and I don't know whether his voice was going. There was something, it was affecting his voice. Would you know about this?
No.
Something in the throat there. I need to hark back to that again. And I've got his feet terribly big. I got that before. All right, okay. All right, we got it right. You brought something of his with you?
Would you like them?
You have? It
Yes.
belonged to him? No, he's just saying. You brought something of his. Oh, He said you brought something. You didn't get some of his hair once, did you?
Nearly.
Nearly. That's what it was it?
Very close.
Yeah, right, because he's getting hold of his hair here. Right, I know I'm still talking. If you've got a question to ask, please ask it, because I don't know how long we can hold on to him.
I'd like to ask, what kind of magazines did Elvis read?
I don't know that he read that many magazines, quite frankly. I don't think he read a great deal at all. He wasn't a great reader. And yet he very much wanted to know more. I feel he had a whole load of books in his place, but very few that he ever actually read. Would you understand that? I know that he may have had what I call the trade papers around, but I mean, only flick through those. But would you understand that? What I call the trade papers around, but I mean, only flick through those. But would you understand that?
Yeah, that nothing. Yeah.
I don't sort of feel there's anything that he was mad keen on.
Really? What was the Christmas present Elvis gave Lisa in '76 that she still uses now when she's at Graceland?
Or a card, I mean. Well, it looks silver, but all I could see was a car. It looks like a silver car. Or something silver car. Silver car, but it
Well, it was a golf buggy.
Yeah, it looks silver.
A golf buggy.
Silver. Was it in silver?
Yeah, was that
No, was it just sort of...
little buggy?
Could just sort of see
like
this thing
what
down
we would
there.
call a golf cart. She
What's
still drives it around.
It's silver.
She's only 11 now, yeah.
Yeah.
Has he got anything he wants to tell us, rather than us?
Well, I think his main feeling is trying to say what is being done is great, but perhaps there's so much more that could be done, not so much in, all right, shall we say in monuments, but in doing something for people.
Does he know about a tractor?
Wait a minute. There's some money's been set up for some sort of hospital or a clinic or something. There is something being set up for either a clinic or medical clinic. Would you know? But there's some foundation or other been started.
Heart Institute.
That's it, because he's saying that's good, but there should also be something where for children as well. For he, in fact, all his money he would like to see going towards things like hospitals, but where it would be free. Mm-hmm. And he's coming in because he said even that one isn't going to be free. He said the people who need it aren't going to get the benefit. And he said, he's some worry about his mother.
Is he with his mother?
Yeah, but he said if she had had treatment so much earlier on, and if it's going way back when he was a youngster, if she could have had the treatment free, she would probably be alive today. But he said, my money that's being spent should be for people who can benefit, not the ones who've got the money. He says the ones who haven't got the money. That's what he feels is important. He's just mentioned about his father. So he's saying something that we've got it all square now. We've got it all square between us. There was some, I don't know whether it was disagreement or something, where though they may have been together in some respects. There was some division between them. Do you know about this? Because there was a division between them, but it's all square now.
And they're all happy together?
Well, as happy as one can be, you know, trying to sort a few things out, you know. But he's saying, we're coming to some understanding, and he said it was a lot of time wasted, I said, oh God, he's going all emotion again. It doesn't help. He cried and cried and cried at the death of his mother.
Did he feel sad when he left?
Yes, because now he realises he could have done more. He's left the job unfinished, virtually. He feels he's left it unfinished. And he said, like that particular recording that was left literally half made. One that was left, it was half finished, but it certainly wasn't completed. He says there's something that was half finished. He says, that's what it's like. All I can do now is hope that through perhaps interested people, that you'll start to, not so much, all right, it's great. He loves the idea that you like his music and what he did, but he wants you to do something, constructive with it all.
Can he talk about his family relationships?
He loved his family. I get the sense he cares about the family very much. But as a child, as a youngster, it's almost as though he was on his own a lot. I feel as though he had to make his own way. And yet family is terribly important to him. He doesn't really want to talk a great deal about his youth. I feel almost as though there was times when he got so emotional, so worked up that he nearly killed somebody. I feel that it was by sheer luck or what that he got away with. You know, he didn't kill them, but he was as near damn it to killing them.
How does he feel about religion?
How does he feel about religion? Religion. I feel he was a religious man. He believed in God. I believed in God. And there is a God. There is a God, yes, yeah, yeah. There's a God.
Can I ask where the TCB ring is now?
It's in a safe or in a bank.
Who's got it?
Who's got it? It's got the ring. It's got the ring. It's a member of the family.
Yes.
A woman.
And what happened actually on that day, August the 16th?
You don't really want a description, do you?
Yes.
Oh, God. As I say, I've got this blinding head pain and the feeling of almost choking. And all right, so you get staggering, almost as though he was drunk, but he wasn't. But I've just got this terrible, heavy, awful feeling. I feel as though I was sick. I don't like it. I've got not shaved. I just got this. In fact, you might even have just got up. I just feel, and I've got a dressing gown on and that sort of thing, and I don't know, it's partly dressed or what, but I feel as though I'm partly dressed.
Did it happen very quickly? Was it all over quickly?
went into an unconscious state, but I think he would have been still ticking over in that state. Something about the door slamming. Something about the door slamming. About the door. All right, don't keep repeating it. Sorry. A door slamming. A walloping great door knob on the front of the door. I just hear this. And whether there's bells ringing, it's as though I feel he may well have sort of gone out of the body, or died, as you would put it. And you could hear these things sort of in the background, bells ringing, and I don't know what, this door knocker. I can't hold on much longer.
What does he want to happen to Gracelands now?
Graceland. They must do with it as they wish. It is theirs. It is theirs. They must do with it, and I feel that would relate to the family, his wife. They must do with it what they wish to do with it. You know, he has obviously no jurisdiction over it. But there are either trusts or something set aside that can be used in another direction. There are either 2 funds or something like that. Something about 2 funds, and one can be used for other things, but the other fund is family, is for family.
How would he like people to remember him by?
As he was. The good parts. How else? How else? They'll come to the end of it, I think. He's away. He's away.
I have with me now one of the engineers here tonight, whose name I do not know.
Stuart.
Stuart. Hello, I'm Stuart as well.
Hi, Stuart. Yes.
But you, I suppose, must be as independent an observer as anyone tonight.
Yes.
Because you're on the technical side of things. How have you seen things so far?
Well, I thought it was interesting, actually, because I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, there were certain things, obviously, which she didn't know about, which came out, obviously. For instance, the silver Golf.
Yes,
it was mentioned.
right.
I mean, that was...
which is a most unusual object, anyway.
That's right, yes. So that was interesting, but...
I would agree, in as much as there were certain things very much left to doubt and a possible situation, whereas on two or three occasions, as you mentioned one, it became interesting because there was no real way she could have known the inside facts that only, for instance, Teresa Carey would know.
Yes, indeed, yes.
There's one thing in the room that I've noticed that is very unusual. It's July the 24th, yet there are 6 large barred fires on above us here.
Yes.
Creating what is quite a hot room.
Yes.
But I found about 2/3 of the way through the conversation, I was feeling a little bit prickly down the back, rather sort of, rather strange.
I must admit. I mean, I felt fairly excited, obviously not knowing what was going to happen.
But who's to know?
Well, true, yes, yes.
Thank you very much indeed.
Right, thank you.
You're remembering now from what we've just done, or are you still getting
I sort of feel now we've gone in onto this.
What about the piece right at the start, where you refer to the nervousness and the fingers?
That was so true, because it was like this the whole time. Nervous energy.
And I felt as though, I don't know, but he didn't have a coin. There was something.
He used to fiddle with his rings.
That's it. He would bring them up off his fingers and around here.
Yeah, because he had to have band-aids on every finger because of the...
That's it.
And he had a lot of rings on his fingers.
Yeah, but he'd bring them up here.
Almost, I mean, nearly every finger had a ring on, except when his hands, and then he couldn't even put one ring on.
But that was the first thing where I felt, that was him coming in so close, because I felt, and he would tap his foot continually. Continually, he was doing this.
He was full of nervous energy, and he didn't like anybody around him being calm. He wanted everybody to have.
And that's why I had to go and sit there, you see, all the way. I felt I had to keep away. That's why I wanted you not quite as near. And that was sort of kept getting this business.
Because even though the number of shows, and how many hundreds of shows had he done, but they had to
Still
push
the
him
same.
out. He
Yeah,
he couldn't
right.
walk out, but you saw
Yeah.
if you were sort of sitting
He's on.
here, boom, and he was pushed out.
Yeah.
And he said,
Anyway, that's what I.
yeah, the time he said, you don't know how you frightened the life out of me.
Yeah,
He said,
because
you know,
that's
we
what I
never got over
was. That was the thing.
but this
And
is-
so I feel that we did get him.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, but it's these things that will, are either proof or not. We're just sort of establishing various little bits here. This business with the fingers. Because I felt he had
ring.
something. It was the rings he used to twist them
Was
when
it
he was
Handful of
doing
work.
this. At the beginning.
What was a bucket? What was that?
Bucket? Yeah.
Buggy.
Buggy.
Oh,
Buggy.
Yeah.
But this business at the very
Golf buggy.
beginning.
Like
At the
a
very beginning.
electric
golf
car.
cart.
Barry,
What would you call a golf
this
cart?
business, like, I could want to keep tugging. In fact, I was rubbing something like this.
Yeah, and he used to go like this and not.
Because I felt he didn't have a coin, but he would rub his rings around before he went on.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, is that
And
so?
Yeah,
Yes,
just
tap his
established
feet all the
that.
time. Constantly.
Yeah, and
And that's why with
doing
the
this.
drinking, you see, that was before he went on. There was the last thing he always put down was give somebody the glass. And when he was on the stage,
Yeah.
Charlie was continuously giving him
Yeah,
drinks, one
because
after
when
the
as
other.
I was drinking that glass of water, I just wanted this funny, taste.
Yeah.
It was like Alice,
I mean,
like an Alice.
I didn't know that. I mean, I had no knowledge. Did you?
Well, I don't know.
Would that be his general knowledge or not?
We had to be at the shows to see it because it was.
Really?
I think they made a note of reporting Elvis drank 12
No, I
glasses of
wouldn't.
Gatorade.
No. But I'm aware of the product. It's sort of typical American root beer type of stuff.
What's it called?
Gatorade.
It's like a perfumed lemonade, that sort of stuff. It's repulsive
But
generally.
it tastes. Yeah. Once Elvis had, you know how you when a guitar
For the
pick and you
throat,
say, "What-"
before you go on stage, so he's just larynx.
But he was drinking it on stage the whole time. And he had the glass half drunk of Gatorade and he gave it to Pauline. And then Pauline came, look where I've got Elvis's Gatorade. So we all had a sip. It's like that.
So you knew what it tasted like.
So we all went round with it. And she said,
Is it a sort of aniseed?
it's a funny taste.
Yeah, and I could smell this.
Yeah, like a Karma Violet type.
Yeah,
Weird.
scented.
And it tasted. That's why as I was drinking, I had to drink this thing, a glass of water, and I was,
It's Gatorade, we don't
I
need it.
don't usually.
No, it doesn't come to England, thankfully.
But this is what I was really wanting to try and find out, if we've actually got the personality. Is it
Yeah,
the
because I
bits of
thought straight
information?
away with the rings and this was,
That's
know.
interesting. I mean,
But with the magazines, that was comics. He read an awful
Yeah,
lot
comics.
with the
Yeah, I
books.
was looking and I thought, that's funny, he didn't really read
No,
at
but,
all.
but with the comics, but he used to keep them all. If you said, Elvis, could I have, say,
Yeah.
1962, number
That was
25?
my fault. I saw this
I never
motor.
moved into comics.
actually, I was going to ask a question, but you seem to be going so well. What did he feel about Mike Stone?
He forgave him in the end because he wanted to, as much as it all got blown out of all proportion at one time, and they said that Elvis said that he got to the stage where he wanted to kill him. But why that
That's
was,
interesting.
That's
I
because
said
you
something
mentioned-
about that, about nearly
but
killing
why
him.
that was because Mike Stone said to Elvis that you're not going to see Lisa. He said that Priscilla was going to ban him from seeing, his daughter, and Elvis said, "I'll kill you first before you do that." You
Which is
see.
a typical
Which is
Yeah,
not,
but
but
he
the
very
way,
nearly did.
yeah, he could have.
I mean, he got as
And you
close
said he
as
had a
that.
temper. He had a
Yeah,
terrible
terrible
temper.
temper, terrible temper.
But they
But
did-
also
Probably
they did not
he got very,
stay.
very close to actually manhandling him.
Yeah, he could have. He was in ninth degree. You can only get as high as 10, and Elvis was ninth degree karate.
But I mean, I just sort of got the fact that he was as near done it. His temper had got him so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Had
the thing
very
about the
quick
comics,
temper.
He didn't want to talk about that actually.
not-
He didn't like
like any kind of general
Talk about
knowledge at all,
his-
right?
No, his cousin told me about that.
younger life.
Sorry?
There was
No,
some.
his cousin told me.
I
Cousin
don't know
told
what it was. There was some awful.
Probably
I
because
had an awful feeling
it's
about
pre-
it.
That's like,
his mother.
It was the sort of
Yeah,
person.
I feel there was a
Dying.
lot. There was
So
a
anything
lot.
couldn't
after
say
before his mother
Yeah,
died.
and I
Let me
felt
just pick this up
awful
because
about it.
it's related just to something very interesting, which is that the thing about the comics was that his cousin told you. So that is not general knowledge at all.
Well, I've never heard of it.
I mean, that's interesting.
But
The
never
way he
got to the
kept them
piano
all,
stage.
Yeah.
you know.
So how do you feel about that? I mean, what do you feel?
But I do think we must have got Elvis.
Must have?
We must have got Elvis.
You think we must have got it?
Must have, because with the, with so
Well, that's
many
true.
of these things.
Because I mean, you actually, of all the people here, are going to be the person who ultimately is qualified to make that decision.
Yeah, that's what I was sad when you stopped.
Eh?
When you stopped.
I could, the thing is, you can't hold them that long, you see. I mean, it was virtually. I did this other one, but it was on a different level. It got
With the-
extremely close this time. what I would
We
call
must do
this
it again, mustn't we?
On the point that I picked you up on, could you possibly sort of develop that a little, about the argument about a music score after he died?
Yeah, there was
which is the one thing that I picked up on.
Yeah, because he was going on, he seemed to get terribly annoyed about some music score that was going to be either used for the anniversary concert or something being mucked about.
See, I interviewed Kurt Russell and he said that nobody would know this at all. He was arguing with the director of the movie because he was not allowed to sing the score, and they got Ronnie McDowell to do it.
Yeah,
and in the end they solved it, but there was an argument.
That's right, there were two people, there was an argument who was going to sing it, or something like that.
Well, that's exactly what he told me.
That's it.
And that was done...
Is that known?
No, only he would know, I would know, and the director would know.
Right, because that's what he said. He was hopping mad, he was furious.
We saw that film about 6 weeks ago.
It was filmed in February this year, but certainly not long after Elvis died.
He was furious about it.
And, yeah.
I'll tell you the weirdest thing, right? Now, whether this is because I'm seance orientated or what, I don't know. I'll give you two things. A friend of mine came back from the States last Friday, and I just popped round to see the guy. Just on the off chance. I didn't know he was coming back today, right? Gave me a call. I thought, look, I'll zip in for 10 minutes. I go round there, he puts his suitcase there, he's just come back from Houston, Texas. He opens the suitcase, and there, staring at me, is an album about a seance, Houdini. Now that's incredible. And the second thing, how does this happen? Right? We're thinking Elvis Presley, whole thing. All day I'm talking about Elvis Presley Seance, organisation, etc., etc. I think, right, I'm going to have a shower, and then I'm going to go. And I get into the bathroom, and I turn the radio on, and there's an Elvis Presley record on the radio. I mean, that absolutely. Maybe I'm looking for it, but at the same time, you can't have notice.
No, I'll tell you one thing. Teresa and myself, we got to David's early, so we said we'd find a pub. Is this true or not?
Yeah.
So the minicab driver couldn't find a pub anywhere in Garston, Hertfordshire.
The crowd's just over the road.
So we went up the road about a mile. Is it true?
Yeah, just past Long Spring.
And all of a sudden, Teresa said, there's a pub. We pulled into the pub. This is an hour before we got here. We pulled into the pub, we walked in, I said to Teresa, what would you like a drink? She said, I'll have a dry martini, I said, I'll have a pint of double diamond. We sat down, and the minute we sat down, what started playing on the jukebox? Are You Alone Tonight, followed by It's Now or Never, followed by A Mess of Blues.
Well, that's really incredible. But it just struck me as a very weird thing. You know, that, as I said, maybe one, because you're orientated that way, you're looking for it, but at the same time, that is a guy who says,
it's like all the factors come together. You see, and there's a lot of thought going out, obviously, for him.
Teresa particularly. I mean, we all have, like, I have a general knowledge of Elvis, everybody has. It's obviously a superstar. Teresa particularly has that kind of absolute inside sort of knowledge. So you feel that we definitely made some kind of contact with it.
We must have, yeah.